Hello and welcome back to the Strong Collectors Podcast. I'm your host Dakota, here with my co-host Jordan, and today we're talking about our very first episode ever. So if you go back and you've been a loyal listener since day one, our
I do
episode...
wonder, I would be genuinely curious if there's anyone listening now who was listening at that time.
Yeah, I would,
Because,
I would think we've got to have a couple, right? I mean, leave us a comment, tell us you've been here since episode 1.
we've only gotten better, so I mean, why would you leave?
That's very true. I mean, I think seeing this episode versus day 1, drastic difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank goodness though. In episode 1 though, we talked about our top 10 Marvel Legends of all time. So that one we allowed some Toy Biz and some Build-A-Figures in there. Today we're going a little bit more strict. We're going to stick to only Hasbro figures. No Build-A-Figures, no Toy Biz, just Hasbro regular or deluxe figures. No Build-A-Figures though.
Right.
But before we get into that, Jordan, we need to make sure that we've got everybody subscribing because we've got a
Yes.
giveaway coming up in, at least as of the recording of this, it's a little bit less than 70 subscribers to go. And then we're going to have our next giveaway. So we tend to do
hopefully
those.
70 subscribers, maybe about 3 days, we'll get there.
I hope so. I mean, there's
Everybody
definitely,
listening subscribes right now. Who knows,
when I do
don't
check
know.
the analytics, it's about 60 to 70% of people that listen aren't subscribed. So what are you doing, guys? Get subscribed.
What are you doing? Get free stuff.
Leave comments. I want to know what your guys' lists are. Again, these are Jordanized lists. We're going to have different lists. You're probably going to have a different list than us. Maybe we're going to have some crossovers. But, don't sharpen your pitchforks too hard. I don't think either one of us have any bad figures on our list.
Yeah.
I definitely don't think my top 10 is the consensus of all Facebook groups, but yeah. Anyway, should we do this snake style like we did last time? You go, then I go.
Let's do it.
All right, so number 10.
We start at the bottom and work our way up, right?
Yes.
Okay, so my number 10, and I can't find him. I'm not sure where he is. He might be stored away somewhere, but it is the Doc Ock from actually the SPDR wave.
Nice.
Which I know is not a ton different from the one they put out in the 2-pack, but I had never got that one just because I really liked the SPDR Doc Ock.
Mm-hmm.
And part of this, I know some people complain about the tentacles, but I think they're pretty good. We'll have to see when we get in-hand things of the new Doc Ock with the bendy wire, if that's all it's cracked up to be. I'm not so sure, personally.
Right.
I'm pretty happy with the Doc Ock I have. I don't know. I just like that look where he's a little chubby. He's kind of got that classic look to him.
Yeah.
And I put a trench coat, an old from the Toy Biz one on him. So I think that makes him look pretty cool, too. So that one has been pretty much my... I guess, go-to Doc Ock. So I'm pretty happy with him.
Yeah.
But he's been a good one. And yeah, I'll have to break him out. I know he's somewhere.
Okay.
What do you think of that one?
I like him. I think I didn't keep mine, but I kind of would. I'm kind of loosely looking for the 2-pack version of him if I could trade for it or something like that, just because
it's mainly just the colors that are different on those two, right?
Right. Yeah. I like the brighter colors, so that's why I would lean towards the 2-pack. But no, yeah, I at first was kind of annoyed by those tentacles, but then the more I kind of had him, I was kind of actually these work pretty well. I don't need my Doc Ock doing a bunch of crazy stuff. I just
remember the Toy Biz tentacles just fell apart basically.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe the bendy wire tech is. I don't know though. We saw the lizard tail and
not great.
Would you say you can be like this or this?
Yeah, it's either straight or about almost 90 degrees. But that's not very why don't you just put a joint in there?
Yeah.
Like a single jointed tail.
I like that much better.
So yeah, I mean I do agree though that the lizard tail doesn't have to move too much where it's I just want it behind him. But yeah, the Doc Ock stuff where it's I want to wrap up a Spider-Man. Maybe the tentacles are going to be able to do it. You definitely could not wrap a Spider-Man up with this kind of bendy wire. But maybe the Doc Ock tentacles will be better.
We'll see.
I'll wait and watch some reviews. My number 10 is, he was on my list last year. He was number 6th last year, so he's got bumped down 4 spots. I've got Zorn. So this one maybe is a little bit of a nostalgic pick because I had him kind of towards the end of when we were collecting as kids. And I would bring him out every time to play with. I never knew his power sets really, other than it was kind of like Magneto disguised as like a hero.
Yeah.
The helmet comes off, which I know you always made fun of him for having a tiny head, but I still think it was cool that Hasbro had.
He does have a little peanut-sized head, but yeah, it looks good with the helmet on.
Yeah, once you put the helmet on, it's normal, but I always liked that, like, Hasbro, like, because as a kid, I don't think I would have liked having alternate heads as much as I do now, because I probably would have lost them. So having just like the removable helmet, which, like, why would I ever really want to play with him without the helmet very often?
Yeah, I remember that. They'd fight around though. Helmet gets knocked off.
But like the majority of the time, I want him with a helmet, so I'm not too upset. And as a kid, I can imagine his head is normal sized. So, still, he's a older Hasbro figure, so he's not the greatest articulated, but he's still pretty good. And I just kind of like the character. I think he's cool. I think the look is fun. So yeah, that's why he's sticking in my top 10, a little bit lower down the list.
I forgot that he was technically, well, I knew he was Hasbro, but it's almost like you forget because the modern Hasbro, compared to the older stuff, but that's fair.
Yeah,
it's a good pick. I remember on our list last time, I had a lot of nostalgia picks.
Yeah, you did.
I understand that.
Yeah, mine aren't too nostalgic. At least
they
weren't.
I think I've
I was gonna say,
tried to get away from that.
Yeah, this is definitely the oldest figure on my list. So, but then we'll snake style back into my number 9 again. A figure that I had on the list last year, but he dropped down. He was number 3rd, going down 6 spots to number 9. I got Shang-Chi.
Ooh.
So he was kind of like on the cusp. Zorn beat him out for number 10 just because he's nostalgic, but I think this is still a pretty good figure. I think the butterfly joints give him like a lot more posability. Like, these are some of the best butterfly joints Hasbro has done on a regular figure. I don't know what is this, just the Shang-Chi body?
I
don't know what this is.
Because not many other figures I remember have that kind of
and just the
range.
I mean, he's got pins, but like it's at least same color on both sides. He's got crazy amounts of hands. Like, I think he came with like 4 or 5 sets of hands, and then nunchucks. So it's like, and Build-A-Figure part. So he came packed in with quite a bit. He's got really good posability. Big fan. Shang-Chi.
Big fan. Shang-Chi. I think I thought about that one actually on mine. Just, I don't know. I've never really done much with displaying him though. So, but I do agree on merit for what you get with him. Yeah. That was a pretty great value.
For sure. So, all right, Jordan. Your number 9.
He looks just like you too with that shredded sculpt. My number 9 I'm going to go with is the VHS Cyclops.
Nice.
You can see I got a little can of beams effect on there, which I think enhances the figure. So it doesn't come with that, so don't. But if you're watching this, you probably know that. I like this one a lot just because I think it is a huge improvement on the Warlock one. I had that one a couple times, and I think we've talked about this before, but just hated the way those straps and those just awful ankle calf wraps would just fall over. So I think they did some cool tooling with this. I like the keyed in strap here where it moves with the figure. I mean, he came with, 2 hands, I think. The cell shading,
3.
Yeah, cell shading is not crazy heavy, so I think he works as a regular comic version too. I mean, the only critique you could really have, the butterfly joints are, I mean, it's not crazy, but the only critique I think would be not having a laser effect or an extra head if you wanted one for some reason. Yeah. But like you wanted, but I don't know what you'd want an extra head for. I think just the effects.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you know, can't have it all. So
Yeah,
that's probably why he's a number 9. If he had an effect with him, I think I would have bumped him up higher even.
that's true. Yeah.
But
And he was a little bit more expensive because of the VHS and to not come with those effects. That does kind of sting. But it
yeah,
is a good figure for sure.
yeah, I like him a lot. So I think he's definitely my. With most of these, I'm like, which one is my like definitive version of
Yeah,
the character? You know,
sure.
like if I could only have one of this guy or this character, who would it be? So that'd be my one Cyclops.
Makes sense. Me too.
And then I go again.
Yep, you're going
Right.
again. Number 8.
Soft spot in my heart is none other than the Joe Fix-It Kang.
Kang, all right.
I love this Kang. I mean, I think I got him because I hadn't gotten him, of course, when he first came out. But when I did, I was very impressed with like the sculpting on him, as far as like the texture and both. I think what I love. This is one of the first times I saw this like inverted. What do they call that? The inverted ball joint?
Yeah,
Or
I think so.
what is that? I
It's
don't
kind of
know.
like the Mythic Legion's torso.
Yeah, yeah. I think before we got into Legions, this was my first exposure with the Legend to that kind of sculpting, which I think is nice because it doesn't interrupt the,
Yeah.
the design on his tunic, if you will. And then he came with several extra hands and a blaster and a Build-A-Figure piece too,
Yeah.
which is cool. I don't really know how you can improve on a comic Kang
No, I
from this
agree.
one personally. But yeah, I just think the colors are cool. I think it's well sculpted. Like this to me seems like a different class of toy than a lot of ones we've gotten
Yeah.
from Hasbro recently. Like I would be shocked if Hasbro put something out like this today. I'd be like, wow.
Yeah. I mean,
That's got a lot of.
I can't speak to
I
the
don't know.
quality yet, but I know that they're going to be doing a lot more figures with that type of like torso articulation because of that new Doc
Yeah.
Ock is going to have it. I think the new Wonder Man has it, and I
Yeah.
think the new Luke Cage is going to have it too. So
I like that technology, so if they keep that going, I'll be
Yeah.
happy. But yeah, he's a good one. Definitely one of my favorite bad guys I've got.
yeah, if anybody else still needs that King, I've got one for sale. I wasn't as big a fan. I don't love the
So
character
do
so
I.
much. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Both of us have one for
But
sale.
if Dakota sells it, I will sell it for 1 penny less.
All right, my number 8 is new to the list, Nightcrawler.
Ooh.
So, kind of like you were saying, definitive character. Like there isn't much you're gonna do other than make a pinless version of this Nightcrawler, and even at that rate, like it's kind of like I said with Shang-Chi, it's the same colors on both sides, so it's not that big a deal. I feel like people would want a bendy wire tail with him. I am not one of those people, but his articulation is really good. You can get him in some cool fighting poses because Nightcrawler's supposed to be like acrobatic, and
Right.
the posing for him, like the articulation, works well for that. So he comes
That's one that
with
comes with heads, right? The heads,
Yeah.
the hands, the sword.
right. I think he comes with 3 heads, right? Is that right, or is
I
it
want to
just
say
2?
3. I think it's 2 alternate heads, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he had
Okay.
3 total.
Yeah. So good bang for your buck, and it's like I think pretty much perfect for a Nightcrawler. Maybe we would get one that's pinless, but then I feel like they would change the costume just to be different, and
Yeah.
that's the costume I would want him in. So
Well, you could get your bendy wire tail.
yeah, I hope not, because I think no, I don't think the Toy Biz like. Oh yeah, I think the old Toy Biz one had a bendy wire tail, didn't it?
I don't remember. I
That
never
came
had
in
it.
the Galactus wave, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know that one had like a super. I don't know what was up with his face. It was like Nightcrawler decided to have a lot of work done.
Yeah, he does look like plastic surgery Nightcrawler, didn't he?
He did.
It looked like the Crimson Chin.
He did for sure. That would be kind of funny to use that head sculpt for.
Crimson Chin.
Yeah. Okay, your number
So
7
on
is
the heels of Kang, we have another baddie, and that is the Ursa Major Ultron. Now this one, I forgot, this one was on my list last time, and I'm still pretty impressed by him. I think at the time I said, and I would echo that, it's just like such a simple design, but I think done really well. I think this is kind of the definitive classic Ultron for me.
Hmm.
I like it more than the one that's out, coming out.
Coming
Which
out,
way is
yeah.
it?
It's
Yeah.
gonna be in the,
Is that Puff Adder? No. Was
I
it?
don't know, one of the newer ones. I don't think it's Puff Adder, but yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. Either way, I'm not getting it. But I like this one. He comes with that cool like mouth bubble effect thing
Hmm.
and a couple extra hands. I like also they didn't do anything like crazy metallic because I'd be afraid it would like scrape off or get messed up. But
Hmm.
I think the articulation's pretty good. I think I don't know. It's a classic look, simple, but I think very effective, and I think he goes well with your other like classic bad guys. I think he looks really good
Yeah,
with my Kang.
yeah,
Throwing a classic Doom there. You got some real good classic bad guys. So
for sure.
I like that Ultron quite a bit. Um, I think he holds up pretty well.
Yeah, I was debating putting him in the top 10 also because he has pretty good articulation. Like you said, the simple design is done like perfect. Like, again, it's a definitive character. There's not much improvement. They tried, and I think this one's still better. So,
Yeah.
good figure.
So do I
So, I'll go with my number
go
seven
back to
now.
you? Right.
Yeah, yeah. I'll go 7 and 6. So, my number 7 is Archangel.
Mm.
So, you know how I love my figures with wings. And I think Archangel is like the character that made me want wings because watching the X-Men cartoon, he was always one of my favorites. I thought like the metal wings, and I think he shoots missiles out in a, but I don't really care about the missiles. But yeah, I know we had those like super old Toy Biz ones as kids, or you did, and I always liked that. And then I had the Sentinel version with the feather wings, which are cool,
Right.
but they're not as cool as the metal wings.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is like the costume I want my Archangel in. Like I know we've
Mm-hmm.
got that 3-pack and the Hit Monkey one.
Mm-hmm.
Those are cool, but they're not like the classic cartoon version. He comes with alternate heads, and he came with the claw for the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure.
Right.
So it was a deluxe, obviously with the
Mm-hmm.
wings, but I think the wings are articulated pretty good. Um, I would be curious to see how they would do, like how technology improves with the wings. But yeah, big fan of Archangel.
Big fan. I like it. And he comes with extra heads, right?
Yeah, he's got the
Or a
like
extra
when he's
head? I
like
don't know.
the
The gold.
villain. He's got 3 extra heads in addition to that one. So he's got the like golden face one. He's got the unmasked normal head and the unmasked like evil head. So
Very nice.
lots of stuff packed into that box. Next up, my number 6. This was on my list last year. Was number 2. Dropped down to 6th. Is Retro Venom. So I won't say too much on him, but I still think this is one of the best Venoms. He's kind of sold. He's on hold for somebody, Wes. He's got to, once he gets his taxes back, Venom will be sold. But that's okay because I've got my multi-pack Venom and same body. I think just because I don't have, like, I don't really love the cell
That's the
shaded,
movie Venom head, isn't it?
yeah, movie Venom head on the 3-pack body.
It looks pretty good like that.
Yeah, I like this head better than the heads that came with this one. Wasn't a big fan of these heads. Like, I wish they would have just kind of like redone this head without the cell shading and put it on.
Mm-hmm.
But since I'm not gonna keep, well, I'm not gonna like really display my cell shaded Spider-Man. I figured I'm only gonna have one cell shaded Spider-Man character. I don't need it. Sell that one and keep the non-cell shaded one. So that's my plan anyway. Still a great
Bad
figure,
plan.
but I'll pass it back to you for your number 6, right?
My number 6. It's gonna be good old Harold Thor.
Yes.
This one was on my wish list last year. Yeah, so I'm glad we got him. I think, I mean, this one is just such an amazing bang for your buck. Even if you don't like love the figure, admittedly, I don't always display them,
Mm-hmm.
but the fact that he came with all this new sculpting, the cape, you can pose him with like that's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
That he's got like that tunic thing, but you can move his legs that much, and
for
then the
sure.
the cut here, like very good. But then he came with the crows, the hands, the hammer, build a
Mm-hmm.
figure piece. Where wasn't he? Wasn't he 1999? Or was that when they jumped?
I think he was 24.99.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Either way, though, pretty impressive value,
Mm-hmm.
and I really like this Thor. I mean, I this is probably the Thor I'd be using if I need a Thor at this point because
Not a fan of the anniversary one.
the
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 80th, right?
80th.
Yeah.
Not really. No, he's almost just a little too cumbersome for. I feel like his
Mm.
cape just limits his mobility so much, and they did the
Yeah.
same thing with the Ragnarok. So
Mm.
I'm gonna go with Harold Thor. I think he's cool, and I don't know, just a unique figure that you can't really retool too much of that stuff. So I appreciate
Yeah.
them doing that.
Did you have
So I
any?
go
I was gonna say, do you have any
what?
honorable mentions to add in before we get to our top five?
Um, I not that I had listed. I mean, I
Okay.
guess I could think of some,
I was
but
gonna say the only one that I had as my honorable mention was the Walgreens thing because he was
mm,
on the list last year and he was one that like I really wanted to get in my top 10 because I really like him,
yeah.
but unfortunately there just wasn't room, so he would probably be my number 11. That's my only honorable mention. If you want to move on to your
Hmm.
number 5, you can, or if you've got one you're thinking of.
Mentions. I do really. I mean the 80th Iron Man's very cool, or the 20th.
Put
He
him
might
in the
be in
honorable
your
mentions too.
okay because I like him. I don't know for whatever reason. Well, that's not even him. I guess he's in the package there. I think he's not in the package. He's somewhere. There you go. He's right there. For those of you watching, he's behind my shoulder. Yeah, I think that's kind of like the definitive Iron Man for me. I
Mm-hmm.
think you felt that way as well, but maybe I just need to play with him more or pose him more.
Mm-hmm.
I like him, but I haven't you know,
Sure.
not quite top 10 for me. But okay, so I jump into my fifth.
Top 5, baby.
Top 5. Okay. My number 5 is going to be the 20th anniversary cap
Very good.
from the homage to the Toy Biz era. Um, yeah, I mean, I just think this one is pretty darn great. I think he came with obviously a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the shield, the head, the hands, diorama. I love the sculpted scales.
Yeah.
That was always a gripe of mine. Was that you didn't really have. Maybe Toy Biz did with the ultimate cap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did,
I think
for
he
sure.
was. I like that sense. It just gives another dimension to the figure.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it more than just like flat. Um, the only critique you can really have is the whole shield thing. I
Sure.
think, but again, I mean, I personally have a Ziploc bag full of Captain America shields. I don't know about you, so that one isn't too big of a gripe for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think if you need a cap, this is I think the other thing too would be if it had butterfly joints would
True.
maybe have improved it.
And that's exactly what they like. They probably could have done that, but they're like, no, 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 no. We're
They're
gonna put
saving
that
it.
out in a year or two, and then they'll have to buy another classic cap.
I don't know though. I think even if that happens, I guess I'd have to see it.
Yeah.
But I think I'm pretty happy with this one.
Oh yeah, for sure. Me too. So let's see. Now my number 5 is War Machine. So he's down one
Mmm.
spot from last year's top 10. But I think like the amount of accessories that came with him as well, and like just the figure itself, like if it didn't come with all the blast effects, like it would still be a pretty good figure. Like you've got his
Mm-hmm.
cannons that come down, go back, the arm cannon. We have enough like blast effects now that like we could probably port those into his hand cannon.
Mm-hmm.
But since he's got the like missiles and the extra shooting stuff that comes out of like the gauntlets or like the turrets on top, even better. I think the retro looks okay, but since it doesn't come with like the rocket effects from the like boots, I
Hmm.
think that one's a little bit lower on the list. And plus, I just kind of like the more silver and black
This one was
versus.
deluxe.
Yeah, this is
All
the
right, this is a
deluxe.
deluxe. Yeah.
Yeah, because the other one was a little bit more like pearly white.
Hmm.
It's okay. I mean, like if there was no other War Machine, I think that would be fine. But I think the gray and the black is kind of more what I think of. Because I guess I never really watched the Iron Man cartoon very much, and I think the retro is more based off of the cartoon. So
Hmm.
I'll stick with my gray and black.
Very nice.
Then I go to number 4, which I don't have to spend too much time on because my number 4 is also the 20th Captain America. I've got him displayed up with my HasLab. He's fighting Morg. He's the only. Oh no, Iron Man's up there with him. So Iron Man and Thor taking on Galactus and all his heralds.
That's quite the battle.
Yeah, I think they're
They've
a
got
little
their work cut
outmatched.
out for them.
But yeah, I think he's cool. I'm probably. I really like the pose I got him in, but I might move him down to my shield display. I think I'm gonna move my symbiotes out finally, and
Wow.
I got the Quake,
That's
and
been there for, that's like your staple.
it is. So I think Venom might end up going in the box and taking a rest. Missing Scream now. She got sold yesterday, so yeah, symbiotes are gonna take a rest, and I think we're gonna put up some army builders. So maybe Shield will be fighting Hydra back there on the next episode.
I
But yeah,
like that.
I like all the hands that he came with. I think the only gripe I would have is that he didn't come with a gripping hand, like either a
Mm,
weapon holding hand, because I want to plug the peg into his
right.
like
Yeah,
gripping
I
hand,
forgot about that. I would, yeah.
and like that clip is gonna break. So I just stole a hand from Dormammu. I think just another red gloved character. But I like that he came with like the open hand, like if he's like throwing his shield. I like the pointed
Hmm.
hand. Good options.
Very nice.
Now you're number
Like
4, Jordan.
I believe they call that the pull my finger hand.
Yeah, that's true. I like it.
Just kidding. My number, what am I at? 4? It's a
Yes.
simple one, but I love them. 3
Mm,
pack Daredevil.
yeah.
So this one I like for a lot of reasons. I mean, I'm a sucker for that toe hinge, Dakota. You know it. But that's not the only reason I love him. I think I think this one is just kind of. I don't know. I'm not sure what more you could do to improve upon a classic Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
Some people talked about the logo on his chest being too
Yeah. Like
whatever,
I
but
can't really even see it right now on camera.
yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know.
I mean, it's still
But I
fine.
guess for me, that's still pretty minuscule. Like,
Yeah.
the only way you would improve this is, as you've said, if they did a cell shaded one, which you almost, like, unless you want cell shaded, I think this is a
Mm-hmm.
pretty, like, the Daredevil, because the cell shading,
I
that's
think.
kind of a comic looky, like, it gives them definition,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
I mean, I think
I
the
don't,
cell shading that I would expect them to do is like from the animated series, and that's going to be like heavy cell shading. Like it's going to be like a
yeah,
half red, half black figure.
that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you want, I mean, I think this is a Daredevil to get. I like how the billy clubs, I don't
Mm-hmm.
have the string effect thing, but they poured into
Right.
there's 2 different wires that you can have on there to give them a lot of different poses. I think that's pretty cool. I think this face sculpt is pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm
I
pretty
agree.
impressed by that. I know some people were like, I want a Matt Murdock head, but kind of like you and I say, when are you going to display Daredevil
Right.
without his mask on?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really make sense to me.
Nah.
Um, but yeah, I think this is a really good Daredevil. I wouldn't say go out and get it for like $70, like a lot of people I think are selling it for when he's like loose.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think he'll go down when that one comes out, or what do you?
I
I'm
don't know if
curious.
it'll. I think the only way it would go down is if there was some sort of like new articulation put in with it, or maybe if that one came with a Matt Murdock head or something like that. Because I would expect it to come out in a 2-pack. So like,
Yeah,
unless the other figure is really desirable, I can't imagine
yeah,
there's going to be too many of the cell shaded ones floating around if they do that version. But I do think like it's not like they're never going to do another Daredevil. I think it might take a little bit. I don't know. They would probably have to do like a different costume version of Daredevil. Like I don't think it would be the yellow one. I don't think it would be classic red.
Well, that's what I'm saying is with this one, like to get it as this sculpt with this design, you know, it'll probably be like you said, the cell shaded would probably be very cell shaded. So
yeah, so it probably is your best option for one. I still would probably wait and look for one in a lot or something like that, personally. Yeah. But I mean, also if it's like Daredevil's your favorite character, you know, you could probably find a good deal. I don't think I would spend 70 on it, but I really wouldn't spend 70 on any normal figure. Maybe a Build-A-Figure, but yeah. Unless it's a Mythic Legion. I'll drop that on a Mythic Legion. Anyway.
Unless we're talking about
There's a Mezco.
If I found a Mezco for 70, no. Actually, I wouldn't. I'd only pay 100 or more.
You can't go for those cheap ones.
Oh, $70 for a Mezco? No. All right, so I go again?
Yeah, your number.
No.
We're in the top three now.
Ooh.
What has made it into your top three, Jordan?
I'm curious. And we don't know, just for the record, so people know, we don't know each other's top threes.
No.
I wonder what you can see it already. But it is Renew Your Vows Spidey.
Nice.
Man, I love the Spider-Man. I forget about how much I love him until I re-look at him because it's tough because the retro, as you remember, the retro one has those amazing butterfly joints. I don't know how they did that, but this one doesn't. But, I mean, gosh, I love the toe hinge. I like the alternate Peter Parker. This is one character that I think you can justify unmasked head on.
Yeah.
Because Spider-Man is seen without his mask a lot, despite that being a big no-no. So,
right.
I'm sure he's not very good at that. But I like that one. I like the alternate hands. I think the price point was pretty good. For it being in the 2-pack even now. I mean, there have been sales and stuff, so you can get him. I think now he's gone down to like, I don't know how much you can get him for loose, $30 maybe?
Yeah.
Probably. I don't think he's crazy high. So
yeah.
I understand the people who like the retro. I just hate those pins. The pins are so ugly on that. And the cell shaded didn't quite nail it for me. I like it, but it wasn't perfect. But this one is my go-to Spidey until, of course, they put out more, and then I need to get more. But, you know, Spider-Man's the one figure I'm probably get taken advantage of to keep buying over and over again.
Right. I do like the head sculpt on this Renew Your
I just think, like, this kind of pose is cool. You know, like, you can put him in such good Spidey poses, I think. So.
True.
He's a goodie, in my opinion.
I actually was just debating yesterday whether I'd want to sell him or not.
Oh, gosh.
Because
just kidding.
My number 3
yes, of course,
is Amazing Friends Spider-Man. So I don't care about the toe joints, and I like the smaller body on my Spider-Man. So that's where I lean more towards the Amazing Friends, or even the I've got the Amazing Fantasy back there too. And that's where I'm like, do I need 3 Spider-Mans? Like, they're all pretty decently classic costumes. This one is a little bit more of the colors. Like, his blues are a little bit lighter. So I like the lighter blue. The only problem with the Amazing Friends one is the eyes are too small, at least for me. I mean, they look like how they should look on the show. But I would like a bigger Spider-Man eye. But then the Renew Your Vows head is a little too big. It looks a little goofy on the Amazing Friends. But
I thought you didn't like the weird ab thing. Did you have an issue with that?
No, that's with the cell shaded version.
The cell. Yeah. Never mind.
Like, I didn't
Aren't
like
they
how
the same though?
No, because this one it goes all the way to the like hips. Like, it goes all the way up. The other one's like lower and looks kind of just off. But yeah,
you look off.
I'll show you off.
You're off, man. You're way off, brother.
So that's the definitive Spider-Man.
Right. So we both have Spideys as our 3s?
Yes.
That's funny.
So now I'll get into my number 2.
Okay.
This is moving up the list 6 spots. Was my number 8 last year. Spent a little more time. Bigger fan of it. Read some books. Even bigger fan. Got Ironheart.
Wow.
Yeah.
Number 2?
Number 2, Jordan.
Holy cow.
So I think this one, I would understand if people don't have Ironheart in their top because I think it's kind of a surprise. But
Hot take?
a little bit of a hot take. But also at the same time, if you spend some time with Ironheart, I don't think it's that surprising because she's very posable. She's the first figure I think I ever had with double jointed elbows and knees that are pinless. So that helps with the posability. She's got kind of the smoke effects. She's got the blast effects, alternate hands, alternate head. Came in was she Ursa Major? Yeah. Ursa Major wave. So good build a figure to come with. Been reading the books on her. Makes me like the figure even more because I kind of like, I'd like an Iron Man kind of character that's cool. Was a little worried because I was like, I read that Robbie Reyes story, wasn't a fan of that. But then reading this one, I was like, oh, thank goodness, Marvel still makes good story. Which I mean, that's probably an old story. I don't remember when that was. When like Tony Stark goes in the coma.
I think you're getting into like the 10-year-old range there, man.
Am I
like
really?
You said, new story. I think I was like 2015, maybe.
All right. Well, I'm reading newer stuff. I've been sticking to like Secret Invasion and stuff around that time.
It's like this Civil War going on with Captain Iron Man is crazy.
I got to read the new Civil War. There's been 2 Civil Wars now since we first. But anyway, yeah, cool figure.
Civil War Part 4.
It's that one writer. Is it Brian Michael Bendis that just does a lot of? And this one, he's not quite as annoying as in like, what is the
Ultimate Spider-Man?
No, Mighty Avengers or.
Yeah, Mighty Avengers.
Yeah, that one was a little bit annoying, but much better in this one. So, big fan of Ironheart, and now I kind of want him to do the like newer pink suit, even though I haven't read that far into the Ironheart story yet. I want more Ironheart.
Very nice. All right, to my number 2.
Your number 2.
I cannot find it, but maybe that doesn't bode well. I thought I had him. I really like the 20th Hulk.
Okay.
From the anniversary line. I used to really like the 80th Hulk.
Wasn't he on your top 10 last year?
80th was. He got knocked out
Okay.
because of the 20th, which at first I was kind of like, eh, but I got it, and I realized how kind of pea-head the old one is, which is annoying. But I just think the new one just has much better detail. I mean, as far as like, I don't know, the head I didn't like at first, but I liked that it came with the base. Comes with the, you could do without the Mandroid, whatever the heck that is for.
I agree.
That's weird, but substantial for sure.
For true.
Definitely substantial. I guess the one thing is he doesn't have the like ripped shirt thing, but you know, that's not a deal breaker for me. So he is my definitive Hulk, and I think he's a lot of fun to play with. So
yeah,
that's my number 2.
Yeah, I think him and Iron Man both came with like head sculpts that I initially was like, not a big fan of these head sculpts here. But then when you get them in person, they do look much better. So that is good. And I agree. I can see, I still don't agree. Like I can see my Hulk in the closet right now, and I think he looks fine with his head. But I think the newer one looks a little too big. But yeah, that's me.
And
I just don't want to buy more. So then your number 1, Jordan.
Okay, number 1. Do you know what it is?
I think I do. Yeah.
My retro cel-shaded Venom.
Nice.
I love this figure, man. Since the day I got it. I mean, the cel shading, it's so unique. And I remember everyone was kind of pooping on it right when they announced it. But I was like, that looks cool. Looks like the cartoon.
Yep.
And I think this is like, for me, the definitive Venom sculpt. I really do like the 3-pack. I know you don't love them, but you know I love the changing head sculpt. True. So we're in different camps on that. But I think, that's my favorite Venom. I just love the way he looks, the
Mm-hmm.
way he poses. I don't know. I don't really have many gripes. I guess there's the little holes in his shoulder, but I mean,
Yeah.
you don't really notice because it's a dark figure, so it just kind of
Right.
blends in.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Unfortunately, he's probably the most expensive one on both of our lists, right?
yeah, for
Yeah,
me, for
for
sure.
sure. Yeah. So I agree, though. I like the scale of him. I think he's kind of more of that, like, he's like the cartoon Venom, but he's also like the classic Venom that's not like the giant hulking monster. He's more like just like bigger than Spider-Man, but not
Mm-hmm.
enormous. So I like that scale of a Venom better
Kind of
than
just like a big dude. He's not like a
right.
Hulk,
Because like
like
the
you
monster
said.
Venom looks cool, and I've seen some people do like the customs of like a cell shaded monster Venom, and it looks cool, but a little too big for me. It's
I
too
get you.
big, possible, apparently. Anyway, my number one, same as last year, Red Hulk. There's no beating Red Hulk. I love him. He's my favorite, and he's probably going to stay my favorite for a very long time. Just like with all the Hulk bodies, I think he was maybe my first Hulk that I got when, like, because I didn't have the gray Hulk right away or the green Hulks. But like these butterfly joints on this Hulk is crazy. Like it is almost the same as like Shang-Chi with how far back you can get his arms.
It's pretty amazing.
And then yeah, just like the amount of poses you get him in. I mean, he was one of the like storylines that I first was buying as a kid, like as a full like run. Um, yeah, this there's no improvement. Like I know people were liking the Diamond Select
Select.
Red Hulk. No,
Eh.
that looks
No.
like that head sculpt looks terrible, honestly.
Well, then his posability's got to be terrible.
Right. So like, and I can see like maybe you're like I don't really want like a screaming Red Hulk head. I want like you maybe want alternate heads, but that Select just looks like trash to me, honestly. Maybe I'd have to get it in person to really fairly judge it, but yeah, there's
Yeah,
just no beating Red Hulk for me.
it's a good one.
Yeah. That concludes our top
Wow.
tens, Jordan. What do you think?
Top 10. I feel pretty good. I mean, I think I could see some people having a couple specific issues, perhaps, with our lists, but I think overall,
I don't think too many people have Red Hulk in their number one slot
yeah,
or
that
Ironheart in their
might
number
be.
two.
Yeah, yours might, I don't know. Maybe I'll get flack for having Doc Ock on there. I'm not sure. He's kind of low. Or the Daredevil. Not everybody loved that Daredevil, but
Yeah.
definitely I think a much improved list than our last lists, which at least mine was very, like we said, very nostalgia heavy. These ones
Right.
are a little more like if I had to recommend figures that people would want to have, these are pretty like
Yeah.
top tier in my opinion.
Yep.
Obviously because they're in my top 10. So
Yeah. That's
this was
good.
fun.
I think this is going to be interesting to like. I mean, if you haven't watched our first episode, maybe go back and watch episode 1 and 2. We did it split in half. You're gonna have
My
to suffer
display
through.
has definitely gotten better.
I was gonna say,
So
I
is
think you
yours.
were just sitting in your living room. I don't
in
even.
the dark.
I was gonna say you didn't even have the lights on.
You're like, dude, are you even trying?
Oh man, you're like, well, no. If we just set the bar down here, if I turn the lights on, we have improved.
That's exactly it. So next episode, it's like, wow, we've gotten way better.
Right.
Perfect.
Yeah. No, that'd be funny. Go back, watch those videos, come back here, comment, tell us how much better how much better visually this is for you.
Yes, probably.
Let us know.
Audio too.
Oh yeah, audio's definitely improved. I mean, I didn't even put any like pictures in. Like you guys have probably been watching pictures this whole time of these
This
characters.
one was just us.
Here's the figure, and then we just talked about it, and I think it was still a
We
good
got
episode.
10 views.
I don't know.
I'm
I
just
have to
kidding.
go check.
Probably got more than that, but
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, still, I don't think it was anything. Definitely not like our
right
Build a
home
Figure
about.
episode, but
right.
let's
Very
see.
cool.
Very first episode, we've got 56 views on number 1 and 24 views on episode number 2.
We only got half you to carry over to part 2.
They saw
Nope.
they saw because it was 10 through 6 in episode 1 and then
Yeah,
5 to number 1.
they're like,
So they're
eh.
like, if this is their 5 through 10, I don't care what their number 1 is. So go
All
back,
right.
give us some more views on those, and then let us know what your top 10 are, because I'm curious to know what your guys's would be. Make sure you're liking, sharing, and subscribing. Respond to all the comments. Let us know what you guys want to see in the future, too. What topics should we discuss? Is there other top, like, 5, top 10 lists that we should do? I think we're going to do a top 10, or at least a top 5 of Toy Biz. So you can look forward to the future for that. Not sure when
Yeah.
that'll come out, but yeah, let us know some ideas for episodes that you want to see. And until next time, stay strong.